Purchase your tracks.
Guys, welcome to the third episode of the Real Talk Podcast, joined with our other ghosts. Say hello, guys.
Hello, everybody.
And today we have a special episode. Today we're going to be talking about recent news. There is some fun new recent news, and we're also going to be talking about space and going to depth on space and aliens and whether we think they're real or not. First off, we're going to introduce get the podcast going with Jeff Bezos, multi billionaire, now confirmed the richest man, as Tesla stocks lowered in price. He sold most of his Amazon shares he's supposedly going to buy an American football team called the Washington Football Team. What's your opinions on this?
It's a bit
Well,
mad. It's a bit mad.
yeah, him having been the most richest guy again is kind of mad because he was overtaken by Elon Musk, but then Elon Musk fell back down. Then Jeff Bezos. People need to understand his net worth isn't what he has in his bank. So if he
Well,
has,
now it is. Now it is
well, not
because
not
he's
really
sold
because
it.
it'll be stupid for him to sell all of his stocks. Then he wouldn't have any money in stocks. So it would
Uh,
just be sitting in his bank account, wouldn't it?
yeah.
And in his stock account, wherever it is,
He
he's
doesn't really
earning
need to
money.
make any money. He doesn't need to make any more money.
Yeah, but it's the thing. The thing is, it's his
It's
company, isn't
minted.
it?
It's
Yep.
minted.
Yeah, but it
Now,
is always smart to have more money.
now,
But I don't understand why he'd buy an NFL team as well.
well, here's my thinking, Chris. So, what's your opinion on buying the Washington Football Team?
I don't see the point of it.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
a strange move.
Here's my analysis of the Washington Football Team. It's obviously in Washington. Washington's a big place. You know, it's well known, especially for places outside of America. You know New York, Washington, sort of like LA because it's sunny, and places like that. Florida. But I think the
They're
main
like
reason,
main areas of the US.
yeah, the
Yeah.
main reason he's done it is because I believe he probably has people he talks to. And these people that work for him have said to him, people that advise him what to do and what to buy and things like that, they've probably told him this team has one of the best defensives. They're very young, talented, and all they need is a quarterback. And if they get one quarterback and they could turn their franchise around, obviously they've got a good pick in for this one, and they could really do good because if they get a quarterback, then realistically they could be getting a lot more money than what they're
Yeah.
currently on.
See, I think he's just bought it to expand his arsenal. Like, I don't think he cares about what the football team is. I just think he
Yeah.
bought it because they were up for sale, and he
Mm.
could just like get
But
more
like,
customers or stuff like that.
Yeah.
More flow of money, cash and stuff.
just
Mm.
So
trying to make money.
yeah, trying to expand,
Yeah.
get more people under his wing.
He got the money for it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does. He does have the money and a few pennies extra.
Yeah.
Yeah. And going into research, we've seen that the Bengals are the currently lowest club in buying in the NFL, but The
It's not very
Bengals,
good.
the Bengals have never really been good for many years. They've never really been at the top price for many years, and hopefully, they can. If he did buy the Bengals, it would take him a long time to be able to come back and things like that, and be able to come up from this, and that would be important if you can
Yeah,
do that. Yeah,
because they won't get as much as publicity, will they? Because they're not as good as a team as the other guys.
yeah, and
But
yeah, it's and because they're in Ohio, and most people in Ohio support the Browns as well. So the Bengals
yeah.
don't really have many fans. So
Yeah, so he won't be able to get money from them or
yeah,
whatever.
It's all about the sales of the fans, because the fans go into the stadiums, they buy
Yeah,
food tickets, everything's going to him pretty much.
food
yeah,
in the Super Bowl games, they sell a
Costs a
lot
lot.
of it.
yeah.
Costs a lot. Ooh.
Mm. Yeah, and that's another thing as well is the Bengals have one of the lowest fan rates, so they don't really get that many fans compared to other teams. And I feel like if he does buy from the Washington football team, because it's in Washington and they've got a good stadium, I think they can bring
Better
in fans.
business.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you can get more money from this.
Also in other news, Boris Johnson, he
Oh no.
has he's just lifted lockdown rules for the 8th of March.
Yeah.
So how do we feel about this?
Now, I think it's brilliant. We have to get back into school. We have to start doing normal things. Obviously, it's going to be hard because you have to be
Yeah.
tested twice a week. You know, you've got to wear your mask all the time. You know, it's going to be different. It's going to be different for us as students going back into school. It's
Yeah,
going to
of
be
course.
different, and especially
It's
for
also
us.
going to be different for learning as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
we don't know what's going to happen. We know the GCSEs are not gonna happen, but like, how are we going to be graded? Like, will the grade
Yeah.
boundaries be lowered or not?
Mm.
That would make students very stressed.
Yeah, yeah, it will, and
Already are.
especially for us,
Yeah,
considering we're in our last year, we're in year 11 now. It's very
exactly.
stressful on us because we don't know what's happening and we're just going with the flow, you know, especially working, well, not working, so like being schooled. It's so weird because we're
Yeah,
not used to it being taught at home, but not really being taught because you can't be
it's not
taught.
the greatest environment, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Too
And
many
yeah,
distractions.
you get distracted easy. You're not motivated to do things, and
Yeah,
although people have their mums and everything, and you have your parents to try and help you, it's not the same as being in
yeah.
school and your teacher
Your
can.
parents aren't teachers, are they?
Yeah,
There's just better things to do.
They've got their own
yeah,
limitations.
Better things to do.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
true.
it's also the thing that you are one click away from watching YouTube, watching a
Yeah,
new
I
Sidemen
would
video.
much prefer to be
exactly.
doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the point where when you're in school, you have the teachers, you know, if you don't do this, we'll punish you, we'll give you a
Yeah.
detention. So you do the
Yeah.
work and therefore it's
I think the threat of a detention does make students want to not get one, lose their time, so they will do their work.
yeah,
'Cause
100%, yeah.
no one wants to lose their time.
Yeah,
And yet, this isn't gonna. We've got no consequences here.
exactly.
I
Exactly.
won't.
Oh, we'll just call you.
Yeah.
That's all they're gonna do. What they're gonna do?
All
Give
we
us
have to do is
detention at
log on.
home.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. I think most people just log on, go back to sleep. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder
Definitely.
who does that.
Definitely not me. You or anything.
Oh,
On other news, some news that's really important for me is and for people that love animals. There's been a video clip of, we talked about in the last podcast a little bit, the thylacine, also known as the Tasmanian tiger. There's been a clip they've found of a father, a mother, and a little Joey, as they're called, marsupial babies are called Joeys, and they found those, and they they're not 100% sure. The one of the top zoologists that have watched the tape has said it's most unlikely a thylacine, but
yeah.
for
Doesn't rule it out.
I believe
Doesn't
yeah,
rule
it
it
doesn't
out.
rule it out, and four veterinarians have said it's not dogs, it's not cats. There's only one answer, so it's agree to
100%.
disagree sort of thing at the moment, and they're just coming along. They haven't
Yeah.
shared the video to public yet, and we will give you detail on this if we get more. But right now, as it currently stands, there is no video out to the public, and there's no confirmed if it is or not a thylacine, but it would be
But that's
crazy.
kind of mad, days. What a coincidence! Like, we was
Yeah,
talking about it,
Yeah.
yeah.
and now we've seen some. It's like, James, what have you been doing, man?
Manifestation.
From the future or something, man.
I've just been placing thylacines back into the wild. Well, that's it. You know,
Man on a mission.
if you watched the last podcast and you were interested in the thylacine, and say if you started to do research on thylacines and started to look at the creature a bit more, then you see that it's almost like we did predict it, and that's why we spoke about it, because we knew that was what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did we know? Did we?
Yeah, that's it.
We all
We
knew.
knew.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Definitely.
But it's important because it also, there's loads of other things. So there's a marsupial lion, and they believe they need the Tasmanian tiger to be back, because the Tasmanian tiger is the closest relative to that. So if they were to bring back the marsupial lion, they would have to have the closest relative to give birth to it. And you
Yeah.
can't. It's really hard with marsupials because what they do is they give birth, but they have a little pouch and they keep it in the pouch.
Oh, it's kind of like a kangaroo, isn't it?
Yeah, because they are a species of marsupial. Yeah,
Oh, right. Right. Good to know.
and that's why it's important. You have to have a special sort of creature, because they're all unique to their own, and you only really find them in Australia. And it's just crazy that Australia have almost evolved into a brand new species of mammal
Yeah.
that no other.
There's always loads of animals in Australia
Yeah, that,
because so much of it's unexplored.
yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
It's just desert.
Mm.
Well, not desert, but
There's loads. Yeah,
outback.
it's forests, outback. Yeah, there's so many
Yeah.
different things. But
Anyway.
after the segment of news, I think that does it for the most recent news.
Yep.
But now we're going to go on to space. The first thing right now about space is, do you think Elon Musk is going to successfully land on the moon in the near future?
Well, he has tried it. He does want to, because in 2016, Elon Musk did wanted to put the first unmanned Mars flight. It was planned. It's planned for, what is it? 22nd departure in 2022.
It's 2022, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's when he wants to get an unmanned flight, and then a manned Mars flight from 2024.
Yeah.
Like a tester.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
unmanned to test, see if they can actually do it, and then
Takes
the
about
manned.
7 months to get there, and no one's really been in space for
Yeah,
7 months.
and what it is the people may be asking, well, why is he doing it 2 years? So because of the orbit around the orbit around the sun, so the connection between Earth and Mars at a certain point where you can only travel at that time, because at any other times, you could be traveling across the sun, which is impossible. And
Oh yeah,
and
you'll
so
burn straight
yeah,
right off.
so therefore you need where Mars and Earth are at the closest point, and it's every 2 years where we're at the closest point. So that's why the travel would be every 2 years. And he's hoping, his plan is to uh, use nuclear bombs to bomb the polars, so that it's
That's
to
the
the
fast way.
yeah, to the
of
north
making it
and the south,
an
with the
Earth flight.
cold, yeah, so the cold areas of Mars,
Warm it up.
nuclear bomb them to warm the planet up, so it's so we can live on it. Or he's also, another plan he has is loads of solar things to heat it up, and loads of different ways. There is loads of different ways, but obviously I
Well,
feel the
We've
nuclear,
already got nukes.
yeah, the nuclear
Just
one he's more excited for, and
Probably
it's
the
the quicker
easiest
way.
one as well.
Yeah.
it's like an evil,
Mm.
super evil villain.
Yeah.
That's not the first time Elon Musk went into space, because in 2018, him and his company SpaceX actually launched the Tesla Roadster
Yeah, I've
into
seen that. Yeah,
space.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He just launched it in there, just letting it fly through
yeah,
space. It's got a fake astronaut in it,
yeah,
and
yeah,
the parts of the car say something like "made by humans." I think,
yeah,
not
yeah. And
100%
by
sure,
the
but
steering wheel, it says something funny, doesn't it?
yeah. But like I said, I'm not really sure. Don't want to get fact checked.
Yeah, I think it does say made by humans. I think it is
Yeah,
along the lines of that. But that is
I mean,
it's
if
funny.
there's something out there,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
He's
mean,
just a well-rounded guy, Elon Musk. He dabbles in everything really.
yeah, he does. Yeah, he
trust
literally
anything that's going on.
he does everything.
Makes flamethrowers.
Yeah,
he's
Boring Company. That's his company that he sells the flamethrower off.
he's really interested in planes as well, and he was thinking. He said it would be the last thing he ever done because there's so much on his mind. But he said he would always be interested in making flights, and he knows a lot about planes and how to make a sustainable plane, not
Yeah,
using as much gas and CO2 as it does, which is really interesting. I don't think he ever will because how much time SpaceX and Tesla uses up and how much
yeah,
he
exactly. And
doesn't
how
have
much
much
money it
time on
would
his hands.
cost.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly.
What do you think one day there would actually be electric planes?
Well, that is what he was thinking. That's what he was
Mm.
saying is a sustainable way and a way to be able to do electric planes. Obviously, it would
Yeah.
be very beneficial for the planet.
Oh yeah,
Um,
very.
but I think by the time that would become normalized, because
We're
it's
too
so
late.
expensive and everything, plane tickets would be very expensive,
Oh yeah, they will skyrocket.
or they'll just never do it.
Mm.
So
If it isn't broke, don't fix it. But it kind of is broke
yeah,
because yeah, emissions and everything ruining the earth.
yeah. I mean,
Oh, and Elon Musk, yeah, the way he got his money together was he actually created PayPal.
Korea and then didn't he
I
create it
never knew that.
with, was it two other people?
I'm not sure, but I know he created it, and I think eBay bought it.
Yeah, I know eBay brought it for lots of money, and that's where he got
Yeah,
most of his
and
money.
he got 100 something million. They
Jesus.
bought it for like 2 billion, I don't
Yeah,
know.
because when he
Mhm.
first made it, he was only young. Like he was
Yeah,
only first starting off in his career, and
SpaceX journey
yeah,
and stuff.
I mean to be able to create something like PayPal and just sell it and then make
Well, yeah.
Tesla, SpaceX, you know,
You got to start somewhere.
yeah,
Mm,
flamethrowers, making all these things. It just shows that everyone has a story, everyone has a beginning.
yeah. The thing is, people actually buy the stuff as well.
Lucky
So
though.
Yeah,
the flamethrowers, people actually want.
yeah. I mean, they sold
So
out
there is a
straight
market
away.
for them.
They're not
Yeah.
called the
Well, they're
flamethrowers
not
though, are
flamethrowers
they?
because
Yeah, they're not
that's
allowed
kind of
to.
illegal.
Yeah,
Can't really buy
but
flamethrowers.
they are
But
flamethrowers.
yeah, I
It's
think he can sell it because the gas thing is detachable, and you can buy it separately. I think,
oh yeah,
but I'm not sure.
Mm.
Is laws as Chris's
It would just
thing?
be
I
like
don't know
a
anything
lighter,
about that.
wouldn't it?
Yeah,
A massive lighter.
mm.
big lighter. Ooh.
She's a big
He
liar.
passed me the lighter, pulls out the Tesla flamethrower, Elon Musk flamethrower. Damn, bro.
Yeah, he loves making wacky, crazy things, and
Yeah,
people love buying them because at the end of the day,
Random
why not?
stuff.
yeah. If
Mm.
you've got the money, you just buy it.
Yeah,
He does prioritize the younger generation as well,
yeah,
but also the wealthy generation, of course, because of the
So
cars.
he's got a,
yeah.
He also said he wants to make space traveling, like going
A
into outer
common
space,
thing, yeah.
commercial. Yeah,
yeah.
Which obviously, because he was thinking of doing this for Mars, he was thinking when the next
yeah,
mass extinction happens on Earth, which people believe it will be a lot sooner than
Oh
what
yeah.
is expected. He wants people to flee off to Mars, and it would be really hard because
Mm,
there's no real sort of materials to build things on Mars, so you'd have to bring it with you. And like I said, you can only go every 2 years, so it
yeah.
would be really hard and take a long
You'd
time.
have to start from scratch.
Yeah, but
Mm,
it start from scratch. It would take a long time, and they're saying that the people that would go there and the first people to go there would never come back.
mm.
And it's
Because
what's
it probably will be impossible to get back
yeah, and it's
Mm.
like what
Yeah,
sort of
well,
because
people
the
would want
fuel
to do that?
consumption.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of Mars, the new Mars rover not long landed in Mars,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's actually looking for alien or life forms. It is.
Well, the last one they put on there was the first. I believe it was the first discovery that we found. There's ice. There's literally a
Yeah,
massive layer of ice beneath all the sand and whatever's the dirt and everything that's under there. And
so
there's loads of people that believe there used to be a life on Mars because
mm,
Mars used to be a lot hotter um, millions and millions of years ago, and they believe it was
Yeah.
the perfect time for life to be on there, and they believe life used to be on Mars.
All right.
You
And
never know.
yeah, and people,
Mm.
yeah, people make loads of conspiracies and everything. Like there's a conspiracy that we were the people that used to live on Mars, and then we came to Earth,
Oh, I've actually never heard of that
and
before.
over millions and millions of years, yeah,
That
it's
makes sense. But how do we get here though?
yeah,
Exactly.
there's loads of conspiracies about everything, and there's a lot. There's everyone will make conspiracies because they're fun to think about. It gives your head thinking.
Yeah.
Obviously, some of them aren't always going to be true. But
Mm.
talking of conspiracies, what's your conspiracy of aliens are actually living on Earth among us?
Oh, Among Us.
Probably
Not sure.
underneath the earth, you know,
And now,
caverns and
for
stuff.
for the viewers that are watching, I will if it's not copyrighted or anything, I will show the video of the Tic Tac, um, which is a really common thing. A lot of army soldiers and soldiers have seen these, and the people that go off in the flights and learn flights, and they do these things, and it's a lot of the US military and things like that. They find these Tic Tac things, these little tic tac flying objects that abide the laws of gravity. There's no emissions coming off them, so they're just moving by doing nothing, and it's become a real common thing. And a month, maybe 2 months ago, they released loads of documents about this. But a year ago, in around April time, 2020, in April, they released these videos of the tic tac looking things, and it really is scary because they don't know what it is either.
Hmm. It just proves that no one knows what's around us. What
Yeah,
really, we don't know anything about the world we live on
yeah,
or the things
Or
around
anything.
us. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and
Like, I wouldn't know if Chris was an alien. He could be.
I
You
mean,
never know.
No,
you,
I can
you
promise
never
you
know.
that.
Yeah. See, I don't know about that, Chris.
Could be lying to us. You never know.
Calling me,
Exactly, man.
calling
Lying
me
through his
an alien.
teeth.
And there's loads of things, but people believe these. A lot of people that seen the Tic Tacs believe the Tic Tacs went underwater, zoomed off underwater, and there's a theory that underwater at the bottom of the ocean there's actually a massive spaceship thing that they're living in, and every now and then they come up and they do research on humans, research on the gases, research on trees, different animal life, and then they go back down to not be caught because they don't want to cause disruption
Yeah.
in the Earth public. And there's also beliefs that the government know these aliens are here and they're keeping it a secret, which
See, that's the thing we wouldn't know because the spaceship is at the bottom of the ocean.
yeah,
I don't think we've gone to the deepest
I've
part
never
of the
seen one.
ocean, have we?
I've never
we've
seen one. So, you know.
we've never gone to the deepest part. The deepest part of the ocean is the Mariana Trench.
Yeah.
And I believe it was a woman in a submarine that went to the deepest part. Um, and yeah, there was new life
Pressure.
found, loads of things, and
Too much pressure.
yeah, there is too much pressure, and there's nothing we can go down there. But if
Get
you think
crushed,
about
you
it,
would.
It just
yeah,
crush. It would crush you.
if they're using things that don't abide by gravity and things like that, and if it doesn't abide by gravity and it's massive and they can go underwater, then there's no reason to say they can't go to the bottom.
Exactly, because if they can float, or like you said, not obey the laws of gravity and stuff, they would be able to.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
And there's also a thing that people would say. I know Elon Musk has touched on it. He said there's no reason for the government not to tell people, but I think the reason the government wouldn't tell people because it would create fright
Panic.
and
Hysteria,
yeah, it would create
panic, and
panic,
everything.
and when people panic, for example, the pandemic
Reckless
of COVID,
decisions.
yeah, we start making silly decisions, start doing things,
Yeah,
and we start to go crazy, and when
not think about things.
yeah, and when
Because of a
people
pandemic.
yeah, and then when people start panicking, we don't listen to the government.
Exactly. They want to stay in control.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
can be a good and bad thing. They want to stay in control to create peace,
yeah,
but you never know. Could be a
You know what people are like the riots and everything. People are using the riots as a way to steal things when it's
Yeah.
really about
Put out their anger.
protesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just don't want to obey the laws anymore. They want to be rebellious.
It's certain people that are used situations like that to gain
Yeah.
Yeah.
when it's really about something else.
Mm. Yeah, especially for the past year, especially in 2020, the pandemic shows why the government wouldn't tell us if aliens were around with us, or, among us,
Exactly.
because the amount of panic and everything it would cause, and the amount of disruption among us it would cause, it just wouldn't be worth it for the government's sake. And they've probably said to the aliens, you can chill, you can stay at the bottom of the ocean, you can come up for your checks as long as you don't get caught, and we'll keep it peaceful. Then you do your research, you can go, and that's it.
The spies spy for us, and then you can stay here.
Yeah.
U.S. government loving that right there.
Mm. And there's also things on the Tic Tac. It actually blocks the. So basically, in these ships, in these jets that they're using, they have these lock-on sort of things. And if
Infrared.
yeah, and if these infrared lock-on sort of things, if that's denied by the object, and they try and do something to distort the lock-on, then that's actually a threat, and it is
Yeah, because they
yeah,
they can just use that against them, so they can't get shot down or whatever
yeah,
they
and
do.
it's an act of war, and
Yeah.
so they believe that. And they also say there was no writing on it of anything of China, Russia. There was nothing on that, and it's almost physically impossible. Apparently, it went really quick, like
Well,
super quick, that nothing can reach that we've made.
Yeah. Well,
we're just no technology here is advanced enough for that
Yeah.
yeah.
to,
Can't
to be doing stuff
outmatch
like
them.
that.
Mm.
And if America hasn't got it,
No one
no
has
one
it.
has.
Yeah.
They invest a lot of money into their army
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
into weapons, jets, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
And the fact that this thing wasn't even nothing was coming out the back of it, so it wasn't releasing any gases, releasing nothing to move forward. So it was literally just going against gravity to be able to push itself forward and backwards, and it was really removable. Well, it was moving so quick and so agile, and it was
yeah,
it was really
unearthly
crazy.
movement.
Yeah. and and people will say, oh, it could be a hoax or whatever. It's not hoax, because the government came out and said these videos are true. It is true, but there is no explanation for this video, so we're going to leave it on unclassified, and we don't know what it is. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
Which,
it is pretty
They
frightening
don't
though.
know.
yeah,
They don't know.
yeah, exactly.
They don't
pretty
know,
scary
we
if they
don't know, so we'll never
Maybe
know.
they do know, and they're just saying
Yeah, they're saying they don't know.
that they don't know.
Cover up.
You never know.
You never know.
I guess we'll never
You
know.
never know.
It's just a bunch of, you never know. You know.
We just gotta wait.
Yeah.
We don't know.
There's loads of different theories as well. For example, aliens helped build the pyramids.
I mean,
Oh
that's
yeah.
gotta be true. There's no way that they're
There's
putting these.
With mods, they had nothing to do with 'em.
Yeah, and there's also a piece of rock found in the pyramids that actually isn't even in our solar system. So they found
See,
this weird looking rock, and they said this isn't from Earth, and they actually analysed the rock, and it's not even found in our solar system.
there's also really advanced stuff in there inside the pyramids that they wouldn't have been able to make
Mm.
back then
Even
because
the bricks they made for
didn't
the
even have light
pyramids,
bulbs.
Yeah, and they're
that
so
that was pretty.
heavy, and
Yeah.
the
And they're
amount of people that
sculpted perfectly.
yeah, the amount of people that apparently built it, and in the time they built it, apparently it's impossible.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely
There's multiple.
impossible.
There's multiple pyramids.
Yeah. Not just one. There is multiple.
Yeah.
So
And they're like
how they've
they're,
done that, we don't know to this day still.
And it's over 10,000 years
that's the
ago when they
theory that
made it.
would make sense.
Yeah,
That's a theory that would make sense.
Yeah.
So I think that's true.
because they literally had sticks to make them.
And there's lots of things saying, for example, loads of their writing. You know how they used to write in like the weird picture,
Hieroglyphics.
hieroglyphics. Yeah, a lot of those people believe they look like spaceship sort of hoverboards and things like that. And apparently in the Mona Lisa, you can see some weird looking spaceships in the back of the picture.
All right.
And there's loads of you'll never hear the end of it, because it's one of those things. If something doesn't look right, it's automatically aliens.
Unidentified
Yeah,
aliens.
yeah, because it it's also the fact that the whole alien picture, little green things with big heads, is where do we get that picture from?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where?
And we all
I mean,
know
where
from
would you get anything from?
Yeah,
exactly.
You just draw something. It's a character.
yeah,
Started off as a character to become a big thing.
It's something you're used to seeing. It's
Yeah.
like cartoons; they kind of look
I
like
doubt they would look
humans.
like that,
Yeah,
but
you never know.
yeah, that's it. And
There is also a big bit. It's a theory that there's giants. That's how they built the pyramids, because you see on the paintings on the wall, they've got these massive creatures.
yeah,
So I mean, if dinosaurs existed, why can't
Those exist exactly.
mm.
these giants exist?
I mean, yeah,
But
it's all
you
possible, and
found evidence for
especially
dinosaurs.
especially the fact in the Egyptian period they wanted to keep the blood pure, so they used to uh, do a lot of cousin breeding and things like that. So inbreds, there's lots of inbreds, so you never know what they could cause. Maybe 18-foot giants
Yeah,
came out
exactly.
of that. You never know.
Never
Mm.
know.
It could be anything. But that's it. It could be aliens. It could be giants. It's so many different things. It could be, and that's why
Multiple
it's
things that people come up with. There'll be more
yeah.
things that people will come up with.
Oh,
And
yeah, especially because people's imagination is so extravagant.
yeah,
They could
Yeah,
just make up things,
on the
and we
spot,
won't know if we can
and
believe them or not.
yeah.
be plausible
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because anything's possible.
It's true.
especially in the human mind.
Yeah. I think because we've evolved to have such a high IQ, we always want to answer unanswered things.
I mean,
Yeah,
people believe in a flat Earth.
Yeah.
We can believe in
yeah.
anything,
Well,
even though there's
most of us have
evidence.
high IQs.
We're not all that smart.
We're not all gifted with brains.
Intelligent.
Basic human knowledge.
Yeah. See, we could talk about that in the next podcast, like flat Earth and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you want more conspiracies, drop a like and let us know in the comments what conspiracies you want, and if we like the sound of the idea and it's highly wanted, then we will do that, because conspiracies are one of those. So many people have different opinions. Some people believe it, and it's always the fact that if there's loads of facts to prove a theory, it gets people on the edge of their seats. It gets people interested, and then people start to believe that. And there's loads of different things.
It will
Always a
also
good
lead them
discussion to have.
to want to know more.
Yeah. What were you
Leave
going to say,
them on
Chris?
edge, like you said.
There's always a good discussion to have about it as well.
Yeah.
So there's points from other people, some to argue, some to agree with. So someone may believe in one thing, and you'll have someone else that'll disagree.
Yeah.
And then they can debate.
Yeah, that's it. And I feel if a debate is always good, especially on a podcast, because someone can say the facts and everything, and someone else can say, well, I disagree, and here's why I disagree. And it's all that thing. It's agree to disagree, and it creates all this.
And people can learn from each other.
Yeah, exactly. And people love
Educate
it.
the person who you're talking to.
Yeah.
But you can also get educated.
Yeah,
On
exactly.
a topic you didn't know about. It's beneficial for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree, Chris.
Yeah. And especially aliens. Aliens is one of those ones. Everyone will be asked the question, "Do you believe in aliens?" Um, and it's a lonely thought to think we're the only things in this universe. It's a very lonely thought, but
But it's also a frightening thought that there could be other
yeah,
things we don't know about.
But
I think some people hope that we're the only ones because of the danger from it.
yeah,
it's not the fear of being alone. It's the fear of not being alone and not knowing.
Exactly.
So if
Yeah.
you're out in the, if you think you're alone, if you're alone but you don't know you're alone,
yeah,
so that's the scary thought.
and
So someone could be
it's also the
watching you.
fact that someone could be among us, someone could be watching us. There could be other other planets that have life, and maybe they're getting technology quicker than us. And if the government and say NASA and things like this actually found life on a different planet, I feel they wouldn't say and the life on the different planet were gaining technology a lot quicker than us, and they were
Oh, they would
developing
definitely not tell us.
a lot quicker than us.
They
They
would
would
not
not
want to
tell us
tell us.
at all.
No. Because they would be scared
Yeah,
and they wouldn't want everyone else to be
If
scared,
they're
would they?
scared, you know.
Yeah.
yeah,
The majority
Army
of
and
the
stuff are
public
scared.
going to be
Definitely
scared.
normal people are going to get scared.
yeah. Yeah, it's always going to be one of those ones. If aliens this, if aliens that. But there's also another one is if governments never knew, especially scientists. Scientists say if there's a planet that is perfect for life, and we look, because if we look through a massive a massive telescope, we're seeing from many light years away.
And they would also the other planets looking back at us. Say if there's an alien, they would see dinosaurs and
Yeah,
everything.
they could be seeing dinosaurs. Yeah. And that's the thing, they see dinosaurs, and then they come flying over to us, and it's like, oh wait, these aren't dinosaurs. What the hell?
Exactly, bro.
And it's like the
Right,
same thing.
depends on where they go.
Yeah, and it's like the same things for us. So say if we go to a planet that's millions of light years away, at the time we see only a piece of bacteria. When we go there, that bit of bacteria could be a whole population
Civilization.
of life.
Crazy. It's crazy to think about that. That it's almost like time travel.
Yeah, yeah.
You see into the future.
Hmm. It's crazy. And then if you think
Like
about
we
it,
said at the start of the episode, we could never find out.
yeah,
Could never know in our lifetime, our
yeah,
generation.
I don't think we're gonna get any technology like that.
Oh
no.
yeah,
To be able
probably
to
not. Probably for decades, if I'm honest with you.
Mm,
centuries.
Yeah, could be.
yeah. It's because it's one of those things. The current development, especially in the 19th century, development happened so quickly, and now it's sort of
There's so many new things.
yeah, and now it's sort of slowing down. Like if you ask someone from a lot in the 1950s, if you watch videos, they're like, oh, in 2020 there's going to be flying cars. No, we're in a pandemic and we're currently locked inside of our homes doing nothing.
Exactly.
You know, if you told them that, they would be like, what the hell? But then you also
Would
think,
not want to be in the future.
and then you
No.
also think of different things that almost every home will have computers, and they'll be like, well, that's crazy. But
Exactly, like a few years ago, computers were the size of a whole room.
yeah,
And phones were the
And
size of
phones,
your
yeah.
head.
yeah,
Phones are
it's
massive. Now, computers basically fit into your pocket.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Anything
They
can
do have
happen.
very tiny computers, and it also creates the fact that in some technologies we take it, like for example, cars have stayed very similar for a very long time because they thought we would have they thought you'd have flying cars by 2020 in 1950 1940s, but they never expected some things that we
We
do
just
have.
get electric cars now.
We're halfway there. We're
Yeah,
halfway there with
and
electric
there's
cars.
also other things, like if you told them that we're so close to being able to bring back extinct creatures. If you told people from the 1940s that, they would be like, that's insane. That's
Exactly.
insane. That's like playing God.
That's why a lot of people wouldn't want things to be brought back.
There's a
They
reason
don't
they
want
made
to
the
play with God.
Yeah. There's loads of different things that, like I said, are taking slow to, like the technology in some areas is slow, but in other areas it's very, very quick.
Yeah,
And it's
just
almost,
like in third world countries, they might be behind, but they're still progressing. If you know what I mean, they're progressing but really slow
yeah,
because they don't have the money to like go forward. Whereas if you got a lot of money and you're progressing, you're still progressing slowly
yeah,
because there's stuff we can't make.
that's very true. It's like China is one of those that is progressing very quickly. You know, they
Oh
make,
yeah, they're progressing in a lot of things.
yeah.
They're progressing in vehicles and
They're
like
very.
weapons and
They've got
stuff.
What was that, Chris?
I keep seeing these things where they've got like holograms, where these like they've got a lion
Oh
and it
yeah,
comes
yeah,
out
in a cube thing.
crazy. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I see that as well.
Oh,
like
I've
on the
never
side of
seen
a
that.
building.
That is crazy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Have you seen
You,
have
you
you
know what
seen
I'm
the
talking about?
building? Have you seen the building where it's like waves
Oh yeah,
and it looks
that's
like,
the one. That's the one where
is
they
that it?
turn into yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
something like
crazy. That is.
yeah. That is crazy.
I can't even figure out how they did it, to be honest. It
Yeah,
could be
it's,
a hologram. It could be
you know,
just
you know what it reminds
3D
me
image.
of, and people that have watched Spider-Man will get this. You know, in the most recent Spider-Man, do you know how they use all the drones with the
Oh yeah,
oh yeah,
holograms? It's like that.
yeah, but we haven't got to that yet.
Yeah. We haven't got to that yet, but it's like that, but in a small sort of,
Smaller,
yeah,
simplified way,
yeah,
not portable.
yeah.
it's still crazy.
But
Uh,
it's like, for example, the spy planes they have like loads of holograms on the sides of them, so you can't see them because it's just like,
Oh
Just
yeah, they're stealth. They
yeah,
also use
stealth.
like
Yeah.
reflections, so that they use like mirrors on the bottom to reflect down.
yeah.
I think.
Also, they did this in World War One or two. The Germans, their U-boats, they put rubberized things on their submarines on the outside, so it doesn't get detected by echolocation. So they were basically invisible.
Mm.
So yeah, they did that all the way back then.
The Germans were very
They were very
advanced.
smart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were very, very clever, and that's why most of the scientists were brought in from the
from
US.
Germany.
Yeah,
Yeah. The US took a lot of the NASA scientists
they
because they
weren't
were
allowed
very
to.
clever.
Yeah,
They weren't allowed to take Nazi scientists, so they give them new
They
identities
knew identity.
yeah.
and then recruited them.
That's
Which
how they got further along in technology
Yeah,
as well.
isn't most of NASA first made
yeah.
by Nazi.
It was built on a. It was
I'm
built
I'm
by
not sure.
Nazis.
It probably I don't know if Chris is right, but he might be.
Yeah, I know there's
I was
something
watching
to
this
do with
thing.
NASA and Nazis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what the US brought in many Nazis to into NASA because they were so advanced
Yeah,
Mm.
and they used the things from the Nazi bases. They used that in the the US Army.
yeah. And it also brings a question because they were so advanced, maybe they found things that we still don't know.
They just
Mm.
kept it locked up.
Yeah.
No one's ever found it
Mm.
because the Nazis were very loyal as well.
Yeah.
Well, not the ones that were held against their will, but I think some of the soldiers were loyal, like first officers and scientists.
Yeah.
So
The
they would
SS.
never give it up. Never tell anyone where the location was. Kept it till their
Or
deathbed.
maybe some of the scientists maybe found something out and they didn't even tell Hitler because it was
Exactly, yeah.
so,
So dangerous.
yeah, and they never wanted him to know because he could have done some serious damage.
Yeah. And they probably didn't even want the US government to know.
Yeah.
So
And there's so many different things.
cover it up.
Yeah, they tried to cover it up, and they never spoke of it again. There's a lot of documentaries and lots of films about it, because the NASA scientists, like we said, were so on top of everything, so far above everyone else, and maybe there were things that they found out that they just never said.
Like we said, we'll never know.
Yeah. And there's a theory that the scientists actually found the hollow Earth, and that's where they actually flee to. Some of them fled to South America, and the more important ones like Hitler and the scientists, some scientists fled to the hollow Earth entry. And there's loads of theories about the hollow Earth, which would be brilliant for another podcast.
Yeah, I would probably have to research that.
Yeah, the hollow Earth is so interesting.
It does sound interesting.
Yeah. So if you
Very
would like,
mysterious as well.
Yeah.
Sounds like that.
if you would like that, drop a like, and we will definitely make a podcast.
Tell us in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's loads of things on that, and there's also things that NASA was built by Nazis, and then now NASA's become such a big thing.
Such an Americanized thing.
Yeah. And America's like NASA, our own sort of scientists.
Yeah.
Our own thing. Yeah.
Then again, America does claim a lot is theirs.
Yeah, that's
They're very full of themselves.
Yeah.
They just love claiming to be the best when they're not really the best. They don't have the greatest teachers. They don't have the greatest scientists. They've got some of them, but they're not American origin.
Yeah.
Just because they live in America doesn't mean they are American.
Yeah.
So, but seems like the government can't understand that. But it's America. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, a lot of Americans seem to think they're the only country in the world.
Especially on films, yeah.
Yeah.
They, especially alien films, they only invade America.
Yeah, that is so true.
And in like Battlefield or stuff, it's literally just the American army.
Exactly. And in Call of Duty World War II, you're playing as American soldiers in World War II.
I mean, this one's going back, but for example, it's like Transformers. The first Transformers, the whole point of Transformers is they came down from space, but only America knew about it.
Exactly.
And only USA, and the USA and known about it.
I think they're basing it off the biggest country, but if the aliens or Transformers saw the biggest country, they would go to Africa or Russia.
Yeah.
Because they're both bigger than America.
But America's more like cities and everything and populated, and it's more of a popular place.
But would the aliens know that?
For everyone getting triggered, Africa is a continent.
True.
But I get your point. It's like a big island that did see, and it's I just know people would have spammed that in the comments.
It is what it is, man.
But yeah, Russia is the biggest country by meters per square, and
half of it's just
uninhabitable.
Yeah, and the largest of population, I believe, is China or India. I can't remember which one it is. I know they're very close.
Yeah, they're very densely populated, those countries now.
Yeah.
They're very all together because the isn't as big as other places. Whereas, like you said, Chris, Russia, half of it's no one lives there. It's just snow and ice.
It's almost impossible to live in that environment.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many like animals that would kill you.
It's basically just places for animals to habitat in.
Which is a good thing for the animals. It's an ecosystem that works.
Because no human is interfering with them.
And it's very important for the animals and species of animals, because we can't live there, so they'll continue to thrive in those areas.
And they will adapt if they need to.
Yeah,
to live in them areas.
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a frog that can freeze its body but not die. So it'll freeze its body for loads of months. I'm not sure if they live in Russia.
It's
They
like
they
it's
might.
almost like hibernating, isn't it?
Yeah, they hibernate, and because it becomes so cold, they actually freeze the outside of the body, but they have these cells in their blood that doesn't allow their organs and their bloods to freeze, so they stay alive.
Yeah, oh, yeah. See, that's done through them evolving.
Yeah, but it
Adapting to the environment.
it also brings back the alien question, as evolving is such a weird thing that maybe aliens are the ones that started evolving. And for example, aliens are actually controlling animals and how they evolve, because it's almost like, how can animals know how to evolve and what makes
Something that
animals
happens.
evolve? And then yeah, that's the
It's
thing.
natural.
But there's a theory that aliens are actually the ones making things evolve to be able to survive.
I understand how that would work.
Yeah,
It just seems like a natural thing that happens to the body.
yeah. I think they've just been doing it for years, so
Yeah.
they adapt to their climate.
Over generations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
because
for
it wouldn't just happen overnight.
yeah, but for scientists, it's so bizarre, because it's, you know, it's some creatures will literally change some of their DNA just to be able to evolve in the climate they're in, and it's so bizarre to scientists. And obviously, some people will say, well, maybe someone's doing it. You know, maybe it's a godlike creature, it's like God, or maybe it's aliens that rule
Yeah,
the world.
to be honest, I don't think that. I just think they do evolve naturally.
Yeah. I
But
think they just
people
evolve,
can
and
have their opinion.
yeah,
It's just the. I mean, the evidence is there.
yeah.
Gonna stick with what we've got.
Aliens could do a lot of things in this world.
There's also some recent news considering we're about evolving. They found out proof that T Rexes actually did have scales, because they thought to believe that T Rexes were actually feathered creatures, but they found fossilized T Rex scales. So it's confirmed that they had scales, not feathers.
Could be a different breed.
No, so different. There's loads of different species of different creatures. So, for example, T Rexes. There were loads of different species of Tyrannosaurus Rexes. There's loads of different ones, and they found that every single species had their own scales, and so all of them had scales. And there's different creatures that evolved differently. So, for example, raptors. We believe raptors had feathers, and there's proof to back that up, that they had feathers, and they had feathers in there, but the ones that slowly evolved into certain birds.
All right.
And so there's different proof, and there's also proof that um, how close they were to. So, for example, like raptors, some species of raptors were very like they were died out the most recently out of dinosaurs. Where, for example, stegosaurs, for example, which we believe were scaled, they were a lot earlier on.
All right. Guess you do learn something from this podcast. I guess. Probably learned more from the podcast than school in the lockdown.
Yeah.
That's it, the podcast where we talk about conspiracies and help you learn.
The learning channel, man. This is what the podcast is.
It's learning in a fun way.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. There is loads
Well, I
of
think that wraps it up, doesn't it?
yeah, I think it does. I was just going to say, I think that shows evolution, that there's different animals have different scales, and different have feathers, and it shows how they evolved. And there's loads of things that lead off that. Like, for example, there was a reptile just before dinosaurs really evolved. There was a reptile that looked exactly like a mammal, and they slowed down for the process for dinosaurs to actually evolve into birds, and then that came through, and then mammals came along,
That's all right.
which shows evolution and shows that process. But that ends it. I believe that that does it.
Yeah.
So
Unless Chris, you would like to add anything?
I mean, I was gonna say, yeah, I think it's mad. How do we know what dinosaurs sound like?
we
Like
don't.
in movies and stuff.
No, we don't.
So they're just assuming that
He does have a point though, because
they're
in like
raw.
cartoons and films.
So, for
But-
example, in Jurassic Park, what they actually done for the T-Rex roar is they combined lion roars. They combined loads of different roars and loads of different noises from creatures.
All right.
There's a loads of of theories. So most scientists believe they actually didn't have tongues that they do in the movies, and they actually had like snake-like tongues, and they actually slivered,
Yeah.
and
Well,
and they made
that
screech
could be
noises.
true. They kind of are like snakes, but not, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They have the
Yeah,
legs
but
and everything.
they got legs, don't they? So how would they slither?
No, look,
No, they hiss.
yeah,
They
the
would
hiss.
hiss,
That's
wouldn't
the
they?
one. The
Yeah.
hiss. They would hiss.
Oh,
As
yeah,
proof
okay.
to show that they'd hiss instead of
I
roar.
think Chris just pictured a T-Rex slithering on the
Yeah,
ground.
Yeah,
wasn't
I meant,
wasn't a nice
yeah, I meant hissing, but there's also things, for example, you know, like the large dinosaurs like brontosaurs,
Yeah.
and diplodocus and things like that, and argentinasauruses. They actually they believe they had their feet were actually like tortoise feet.
Oh, just like stubs almost.
And no, so they had stubs and then they had the claws coming off it, and there's
Alright.
because in the movies you see they're like elephants' feet, and
Oh,
apparently
yeah.
they're completely different to that.
Alright. Hey, it's Hollywood, isn't it? They don't
Yeah,
get
that's
everything
it.
right.
And they just make it
Uh,
so for people to love the animals. For example,
Exactly,
the
yeah.
T-Rex, a massive roaring, it's a massive creature. You automatically love the creature.
Exactly. Especially younger kids. They're not too scared of it. Especially the
Yeah.
cartoon ones.
Yeah,
Just making more revenue
yeah. Well, I think
from selling.
yeah. So I think that does it for this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you've enjoyed this podcast, please give it a thumbs up. Let us know if you want us to do more conspiracies, and let us know.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Let us know what else you want us to talk about, and please share these to your family, to your friends, as we love making the podcast, and we want the podcast to be shared around, and for more people to watch the podcast and to enjoy it. But we're loving the love and support at the moment, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you in the next one.
Bye.